And now sports with Kevin Bilodeau.
Good evening, everybody. We'll begin with college basketball, where the College of Charleston has been unbeatable at home so far this season. And with 4 straight home games coming up in the next 10 days, the Cougars have a chance to pull away from the rest of the SoCon starting today as they hosted Samford. This one coming on homecoming, and the fans ready to go. Also ready to go, Jeremy Simmons in the first half gets the pass down low, goes through 2 defenders, off the glass, hits the bucket and the foul. Simmons, 7 points and 6 boards on the night. Later, Cougars doing what they do best, shooting the outside shot. Kassan Breeden hits the 3. He had 6 points and 9 boards on the day. Later, Tony White Jr., also from the outside. He had 15. Cougars take an early lead. Then Donovan Monroe from the corner hits the 3 off the pass from Andrew Gadlock. He would hit one more 3 in the first half, had 12 for the game. Cougars up 39-15 at the half. In the second half, it's Gadlock who goes completely berserk from the outside, hits the 3, and he is just getting started. He would hit another and then another. He hit 7 threes on the afternoon, finishes the day with 25 points, and the Cougars get a big win, 75-54 over the Bulldogs.
And Godlock was amazing in the second half. And in the first half, they kind of gave him the long-range shot.
Now, while Godlock was on fire for the Cougars, Zach Urbanus was everywhere for the Citadel tonight as they tried to make up for that last-second loss to Chattanooga a few weeks ago. In the first half, Urbanus from the outside hits that one, and he's just getting going. Another 3 for Zach. Later in the first, he's just going to keep hitting them from the outside. Urbanus would hit 7 threes on the night. One more from Urbanus for good measure. Later in the first half, Bulldogs going to the inside. Brian Streeter, off the nice pass against the zone defense, goes up for 2 and the foul. Citadel up 28-25 at the half. Switching out to the second half, it's Urbanus one more time, tied a career high on the night with 24 points for the Cid, leading the way. And then Bo Holston coming off the bench, contributing a little bit here, hits the bucket and the foul. He had 9 points and 9 boards off the bench, and the Bulldogs make up for that loss to the Mocs with a 68-60 win over Chattanooga.
It's a good feeling just to know you have people on the bench who can come out in the game and just do what they need to do and come out there.
Andy down by 11 with 4 minutes to go. Even Cougars head coach Bobby Kremen said he didn't think his team was capable of pulling off the comeback. But a 12-1 run down the stretch, capped off by an Andrew Gadlock 3 at the buzzer, sends this one into overtime. Then a Donovan Monroe 3 to start overtime helps lead the way as the Cougars pull off an enormous upset over number 9 North Carolina.
I want to know in second, we want to know how the Tigers are doing.
Well, first off, guys, welcome to the Sunshine State. As I'm sure you can see, I have not seen the sun in the 2 days since I've been here. It's been raining off and on the entire afternoon. And, of course, the second I stepped out of our satellite truck, it turned to torrential downpour, and I am now getting soaked as we're live at Raymond James Stadium. The weather has caused some havoc with the teams as well today. Clemson was supposed to come out and practice at about 4:15 this afternoon. That got canceled. Georgia Tech was supposed to have a full practice earlier this afternoon, but Georgia Tech just came out, walked around the stadium a little bit, took some pictures, and they went back to their hotel.
Now, one of the problems the senior PGA players had back in 2007 was the sand was too soft. Balls were getting easily caught in here, making them almost unplayable. But the course says they're working on a remedy for come 2012.
So far, the highlight of his season has been a 20-game hit streak Green had earlier in the summer, the longest in the league so far this season. But Justin said even he didn't realize he had this streak going till it was more than halfway through. Andy, the College of Charleston offense was one of the best in college baseball this season, but over the past week they came up short time and time again. First against Clemson, then in a 3-game sweep against the Citadel. For 8 innings, Wes Wren showed why he was named the Southern Conference Pitcher of the Year at one point, retiring 17 straight batters. But in the 9th inning, an error and a double knocked him out of the game, and App State capitalized by scoring 3 runs to give the Bulldogs a 4-1 loss. Pat Venditti has put up some impressive stats in his short time in Charleston. 5 saves in 6 games, 14 strikeouts in just over 7 innings pitched. But what's more impressive is how he's doing it. Venditti is the only professional switch pitcher in the country, getting guys out right and left-handed, a skill he discovered at a young age.
My dad started working with me when I was 3 years old. I'm a natural right-hander. Everything else I do in life is right-handed, but I don't know why, but he had the idea to start working with it, and I'm fortunate that he did.
To be able to do that with, with both arms, be able to command pitches and throw strikes and compete at this level, it's amazing.
But Pat was far from an overnight success. He had to walk onto the baseball team at Creighton before being a 20th round choice by the Yankees last year. and he has to do twice as much work on a daily basis to get both arms ready.
You know, it does take a little bit extra conditioning. I like the long toss both ways, 5 to 6 times a week.
Venditti also has a custom-made 6-finger glove that allows him to switch hands easily between batters, and even his style of pitching changes with each arm.
From the right side, more of a fastball, curveball guy. From the left, I'm sidearm with predominantly sliders.
Venditti's skill is so rare, the Professional Baseball Umpire Corporation had to come up with a completely new set of rules just to deal with ambidextrous pitchers. They call it appropriately the Pat Venditti rule. But he also wants to make sure he's remembered for more than just an obscure rule.
I don't want my legacy to be, just an A baseball player, but hopefully I can move up one day. That's not something I'm going to worry about now, but it's been good so far. A long way to go, though.
To the NFL draft, where yesterday's first 2 rounds went by without a single name from Clemson or South Carolina. But today, the final 5 rounds were littered with names of players from the 2 schools, starting and ending with the Gamecocks. It started with South Carolina's former tight end Jared Cook, who went in the 3rd round to the Tennessee Titans. Cook had the fastest 40 time of any tight end at the Combine and caught 37 passes for 573 yards and 3 touchdowns last year for the Gamecocks. So Cook was the first Palmetto State player to go, but he wasn't the last. Clemson defensive end Darrell Scott was the first Tiger to be picked this year, going in the 4th round, 103rd overall to the St. Louis Rams. The senior had 8 sacks and an interception in his 4 years in Death Valley. 103rd is the lowest for the first Clemson player to be drafted since back in 2004. The Gamecocks wide receiver, who set numerous school records in his 4 years, also chosen today. Kenny McKinley went in the 5th round to the Denver Broncos. He missed 3 games for Carolina this year due to injury, but still managed over 200 catches, 2,700 yards, and 19 touchdowns in his time with the Gamecocks. And he wasn't the only Gamecock to go in the 5th round. Linebacker Jasper Brinkley was taken with the 150th pick of the draft by the Minnesota Vikings. He had almost 200 tackles in the last 3 years to go along with 7 sacks and 3 interceptions. Also, Gamecocks tackle Jamon Meredith went in the 5th round to Green Bay. Things also picked up in the 5th round for Clemson. Safety Chris Clemens was chosen 165th overall by the Miami Dolphins. He had 2 interceptions and over 90 tackles last season. The very next pick after Clemens, the Tigers' other safety was chosen. Michael Hamlin went with pick 166 to the Dallas Cowboys. Hamlin led the team with 6 interceptions and was second with 110 tackles. Finally, James Davis, who thought about leaving Clemson after his junior year, saw himself fall all the way down to the 6th round, where he was selected by the Cleveland Browns. He rushed for over 3,800 yards and 47 touchdowns in his career with the Tigers. But South Carolina wasn't done yet. Cornerback Captain Munnerlyn, chosen in the 7th and final round by the Carolina Panthers. He had over 120 tackles and 5 interceptions in his time with the Gamecocks. Cornerback Stoney Woodson also picked in the 7th round by the New York Giants, but there was one more Carolina player to be picked.
With the 256th pick of the 2009 NFL Draft and final pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Ryan Succop.
That's right, Gamecock kicker Ryan Succop was taken with the final pick of the draft, making him the 2009 Mr. Irrelevant. Succop, who also punted with Carolina, made 49 of his career 69 field goal attempts in 4 seasons. He finished with 251 career points, second all-time with South Carolina.